Joining us this morning, Kim Owens, Executive Director of the Doty London Excellence in Public Service Series. That's a leadership program for Republican women. And Lisa Fernandez, a Democratic consultant and Vice President at Resolute Consulting. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Lisa Fernandez, was Martha McSally the best choice for the U.S. Senate in Democrats' eyes?
Well, in Republicans' eyes, she was, a strategic choice and probably a safe choice to say she's their top contender. In Democrats' eyes, I think we have a lot of great candidates, and Martha McSally's biggest challenge is going to be her association with Donald Trump. She has held very tight, and she's been different in her Senate race than she was in her congressional races, but that association is, I think, going to come back to haunt her. Trump was spiraling, we're saying that, and it's only going to get worse. And so as 2020 approaches and they both could be on the ballot, that's going to be her biggest challenge in my mind.
And Trump is spiraling right now. The White House in a bit of chaos itself. How should Martha McSally handle that in office as a U.S. Senator?
Senator McSally will do what Representative McSally did, and that is be a problem solver, look for ways to find solutions to the issues that face Arizona, and work in a manner with Senator Sinema, with other senators to accomplish those goals. She's proven herself throughout her life that she can take on challenges and find a way to be successful. She'll do the same thing in the Senate.
But about that Trump relationship, she embraced Donald Trump through the Senate campaign. Just 2 years ago, she wouldn't even tell folks if she had voted for him. So where should she go? Should she be the person who 2 years ago who was arm's length, or just maintain that embrace and continue working and voting with the president?
There's always the campaign trail, and then there's the reality of service. And if you look at the reality of her service, she will be that person. Everybody does things. Kyrsten Sinema distanced herself from Democrats during her campaign. She didn't speak about being a Democrat. She didn't do those things. But she will certainly govern as a Democrat. The same thing will happen with Martha McSally. It's a bit of a double standard to expect Kyrsten to stay in the middle, but Martha not to do the same, to be the person she's always been as well.
I also think it's two very different campaign strategies. She won a competitive seat that is Democratic leaning by that distance, and that was the way she did it, where she kept him at arm's length, and then embracing him in the Senate race obviously didn't do her any good. I'm told that she is going to need to, or has already, changed up her consultants, and I think part of that is the association with Trump, and she has to distance herself, because jumping on that train and sticking with it at this point is going to be disastrous.
Well, and I think Lisa makes a point that needs to be recognized, that campaigns are not the same as governance. And in that campaign, rightly or wrongly, her advice from her consultants was to do that with President Trump. Did it work? Did it not work? There's a lot of things out there that say that may have been the issue, that may not have been the issue. Focusing on that one portion of her campaign doesn't really tell the whole story. And whether that campaign group is in Arizona again or not, Martha McSally will still be the person she was before this election, and she'll prove that in her time in the Senate.
It's also his agenda, and one of the main issues that people walked out talking about was health care. They voted for Kyrsten over Martha McSally because of health care, and that is along Trump's agenda. So I don't think it's just him, it's the association with an extremist agenda.
And this gets complicated because now you have divided Congress, Republican Senate, Democratic House. Does that enable McSally to represent a purple state, the purple state we saw in the vote, to vote that way? Because she might have a chance for some safe no votes, wouldn't she?
Maybe. You have to remember, we always look at things in these type of conversations in the vacuum of the moment. And you don't know what tomorrow's moment will be. So what changes that? Healthcare, the healthcare debate came about when the Democrats saw a Republican beat a Republican in the Eric Cantor race. And they said, oh, hey, this is a case that we can make for Democrats. So they took that as their wedge issue. You don't know what the next wedge issue will be. So where she is, how she votes, Martha McSally is going to vote for what she thinks is right for the people of Arizona. Politics being what they are, she knows she's going to have to run again. As a congresswoman, she had to run every 2 years. This is nothing new. It'll be okay.
Okay, so it appears she had to get Cindy McCain's blessing, or at least Cindy McCain's, Cindy McCain just staying away from this appointment. And I wonder what we should make of Cindy McCain's tweet just minutes after the appointment was announced. She said, "My husband's greatest legacy was placing service to Arizona and the U.S. ahead of his own self-interest. I respect Doug Ducey's decision to appoint Martha McSally." Again, I respect Doug Ducey's decision to appoint Martha McSally to fill the remainder of his term. Arizonans will be pulling for her, hoping that she will follow his example of selfless leadership. Martha McSally snubbed John McCain for months. This is not a ringing endorsement by Cindy McCain, is it?
It's not a ringing endorsement, but the key word in that is the word that you emphasized, is respect. Cindy McCain respects the process. She understands the process. She lived with a diligent campaigner for years. She understands the campaign trail. Martha was magnanimous in going to Cindy McCain, offering her apology. She's publicly said, "I should have done it." This goes back to, was her advice wrong or right? And did she follow the wrong advice? And she's moving forward. We should all be pulling for both of our senators to be successful.
Can Martha McSally vote, behave like John McCain in the U.S. Senate she's going to be entering?
I think she needs to try. That's the only way she's going to be appealing to these voters. We're going to have a lot of great Democratic candidates who could be our nominee, and it's going to be a tough race. Going against an incumbent is going to be tough. Somebody who has statewide name ID, all the things that she has, probably $1 million+ in the bank right now, but she's also proven that she can lose, and she can lose a statewide race. So I think Democrats are hungry for that.